in trouble. Now, silver lining news out of Green Bay. Jordan Love injured, but not going on the IR. Malik Willis slated to start. But yesterday, Matt LaFleur said he's not ruling out Love. Tell that to my ex-wife. I don't have an ex-wife. Right. For this week's game against the Colts. Take a listen. I don't know.
What's the possibility of Jordan actually being ready for?
I couldn't give you a percentage, but if he gets cleared, we'll give him every opportunity, like we always will. And you know, I know he's doing everything in his power. I know he's spending a lot of time trying to get back as soon as possible. But certainly, we're not going to put him in a position where, if he can't protect himself, that he'd go out there.
Okay. He was going to be out for 3 to 6 weeks, and all.
I mean, listen. This is where the NFL's a little silly. This is where coaches really do pretend it's the nuclear codes. Everyone knows that Jordan Love's out this week. Now, maybe he'll be back sooner than people thought, but you are not giving yourself any edge against the Colts by being like, who knows, guys? Like, so, but this, I mean, to me, that's silly. We know he's not playing.
Super Bowl odds dropped from plus 1,600 to plus 3,500.
They became underdogs to make the playoffs.
Ties the Packers with the Rams and, dare I say it, the flirty Bears.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Okay. Yeah. So, are the Packers in trouble now?
Well, it depends on how long Love's out. This is obviously good news. It seems like it won't even be 4 games.
They hope they hope it's not.
Yeah, I mean, Indy, this is going to be a tough. It's winnable. Malik Willis, that's the thing. He's not good.
Yeah.
All right, and they ran the ball really well against Philly. I know they're going to try to, do that, and that's what they got to lean into. Let's run the football. Maybe see if Willis can hit some underneath stuff because they got a great receiving core. But hopefully he'll be back. So Indy, Tennessee, Minnesota. So those are 3 games you can win, right? And then it gets really rough. So he needs to be back by
Would
then.
you, Greg? I'd call Ryan Tannehill.
No,
I agree with that.
Look, this is what bothers me. This is why the Packers are in this situation, because they didn't pick up the phone and call somebody. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they have Patrick Mahomes. We know that.
But if he was out 3 weeks, they'd be alive in every game with Carson Wentz.
Right.
Alive.
Why? Because they prepare to sustain success. You prepare. You don't do this when you have a team and a roster that you feel like you can compete with. And so for me, the reason why they're not out. Right. But yes, they're in trouble right now in the current moment because Malik, you might conceptually have to change the identity of how you run your offense now. Because unless something drastically changes and he can throw the football now, you're going to have 4 receivers out there that are going to be looking like...
No, you just have to run the ball with Josh Jacobs.
Exactly. LaFleur must have seen something.
No, so
I obviously didn't think Love's going to get hurt, but why would he go after Willis?
So I have my theory on that is that they were like, hey, this is essentially a distressed asset. This is a guy some people thought was going to go in the first round. He was a relatively high draft pick. We're going to get him for nothing from Tennessee. Cool. And he's going to have a year.
You're correct.
He's going to have a year in the practice, in our meetings. He's never been around a real offensive mind in the NFL, they're probably thinking. And maybe we can get that talent out of it.
Someone raised their hand like, yeah, just quick question. Didn't the Jets just try to do that? Remember? High draft pick, kind of distressed, but they had him in the building.
Too,
don't have to worry about it.
But the Cowboys at least have a backup already in Cooper Rush. Right. I agree. I think who's there? Is it Sean Mannion? I forget the kid who was their backup last year. He's still there on the practice squad. Sean Clifford is his name. Right. But if you remember, Wilds, when this happened, you kind of, not the injury, when they got Malik Willis, you threw it at us in a weird and wonderful, and I didn't want to be mean, but I was like, no, Malik Willis is not an NFL quarterback, and he's not right now.
Yeah.
So if we can show that Packers schedule again, listen, you could beat the Colts. Maybe you just run the ball. I think Colts are fine. But I would 100% call Ryan Tannehill and be like, listen, buddy.
Revenge game.
I agree.
Revenge game against the Titans. You get to play a game against the Vikings and maybe another one against the Rams, and then you're a backup the rest of the way with a really good team whose quarterback just got hurt. Maybe you get to play. And because, Brew, I think they can, if they are 1-4, they're not dead, but they're on life support.
Well, and the schedule's tough.
Correct.
So
2-3 though.
2-2 is what.
Right.
Yeah,
and I was
you're hoping for.
And you can beat the. I mean, even if you started Malik Willis, I don't know that you have the worst quarterback in the Titans game. Malik Willis, Will Levis. I mean, that is just. I mean, by the way, they're both former Titans, as is.
Correct.
And so, and the Vikings, I think the Sam Darnold, bloom will come off the rose a bit. We'll see. But I don't understand why they didn't have more of a contingency. I would have totally supported the Malik Willis move in the format of the Trey Lance move.
Right.
We're going to bring you in as our third string emergency quarterback and to develop you long term. Now, it doesn't seem to have worked out for Trey, but still, it wasn't going to hurt the Cowboys. This one, I didn't understand at the time. I don't understand now. I do have an important question, though. If he's only gone 3 weeks, even if they go 0-3, Drew doesn't get to activate his contingency.
They have to be on the IR.
Or you have to miss at least 4 weeks of time.
Yeah.
I need to look in the bylaws.
No, I looked.
People missed yesterday. Brew made a contingency Super Bowl pick of the Niners.
At y'all
49ers
request, and just as in fairness,
Yeah.
True.
the quarterback got hurt.
Yeah.
Yes, but if he only
I have
misses
to have a
3
backup.
weeks, then
You've got the 49ers, and then you bailed on your Falcons pick. You're a Bake Show guy. See, He also
You
plowed
bailed
the ground. He's
already?
like, you know what I want to do for Mahomes Mountain? Baker.
oh yeah, he's trying
Smart.
to.
Just-
That is actually quite smart.
Savvy,
Yeah.
savvy. Dusty, are we going to break? I
Yeah.
think so. Coming up next.
The Bills' defense wasn't good this week. Their offense was. The Eagles, if you think they're a contender, their defense wasn't good. Their offense was. I'm trying to go, up and down the
Green
list.
Bay's offense
Atlanta's offense was awful. Their defense was actually pretty good. Held them to just field goals. Maybe that's the closest to it. Go up and down the list. What other team that we have real expectations for is supposed to? I thought Miami's offense wasn't great. The defense was.
I'm down on them, but the Bengals. That's why.
The Bengals' defense was fine. The Bengals, they allowed 16
that's very
points.
It was against New England.
Okay, so the Bengals are the one.
16 points
So the
against New
Bengals are the one, and we asked, is it panic time?
Yeah, that's right.
We asked, is it panic time? And so, no. My answer to this is no, the Jets should not feel optimistic, and I don't think you think.
No, I'm just saying I don't think the sky is falling.
falling.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I would be. I'd be like, bad news, guys.
That's why
they
Jets
didn't even
fans,
have
I
Christian
told you.
McCaffrey.
Don't listen to me.
Okay, Purdy, meanwhile.
Close your ears.
Move on to Brock Purdy, 231 yards. I'll read a verbatim text from Brew. Quote, he's outplaying a Hall of Famer by leaps and bounds.
Bruce said
It's
that whole
true.
chain is off the record.
Oh, is this off?
No, that's fine. If you
Purdy's
use the
straight
good stuff.
surgical. Here's Purdy post-game.
He was surgical.
For us as an offense, it's like, man, we want to score touchdowns, and we're hard on ourselves about, like I think it was like a 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 10 and coming up short. And it's like, man, there's areas where we want to push each other and get a little better, and that starts with me.
Okay, look at that. Purdy last night started a little slow, then heated up. Also, when Sauce left the game to catch his wind,
It was weird. That's when he really started cooking.
No,
6 for
because
6.
Sauce
Yeah.
was all over
Sauce-
the receivers.
right.
He was doing great.
And
yeah.
he
Were
wanted
you impressed by a CMC-less 49ers squad, bro?
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Listen, I was impressed by Brock. Those first couple drives.
I can't believe it.
Wait, can you say that again?
No, listen.
I think that's the first time Nick
First
said
time
that.
ever.
Definitely not.
Guy was in the Super Bowl.
I will continue to just be fair and honest about Brock Purdy. When he plays well, I will tell you. When I think he plays poorly, I will tell you. When I think his numbers are not a reflection of how well or poorly he played, I will tell you. This is an instance where I think he was better than those numbers suggest. I thought that this was, to me, more impressive than some of his 120 passer rating 3-touchdown games. Because it was a whole weekend of bad quarterback play, essentially, with the rare exception. As you guys mentioned, it started off looking like he was going to follow in that trend. I think I sent you guys on our off-the-record text chain, a meme or a GIF about that. And then after those opening few drives, I thought there was one drive the entire game where he wasn't very good. And it was the one where Aikman got on him a bit, like, oh, that could have been picked, and that was right. And it was like bang, bang, bang. But everything before that and everything after that was excellent. I thought and I didn't think it was super easy layup stuff. Some of the guys were open, but they were still good reads. I thought the play to use check was a good read by Purdy. I thought he played well. And I was watching that game, because I don't think the Jets defense is bad.
No.
I don't think they are the best defense in football the way some people expected. So I thought this was an impressive performance by Brock Purdy, despite the numbers looking Mediocre.
Well, and Ayuk was completely rusty. He dropped 2 passes, one of them a perfectly thrown ball in the end zone. That would have made the stats look better, obviously. I want to throw this out at you, Nick. And McCaffrey, until further notice, is the best running back in the league. Now, we'll see the Saquon passing this year. Does Henry, Henry's just a totally different type of running back. I